Good evening. Coming up on Chat Television, Medicine Hat City Manager is criticizing the Alberta Government. And there was a sod turning for a new super school in Medicine Hat today. Chat News starts right now.
From Medicine Hat, this is the Chat Evening News with Dan Reynish.
Hello and welcome. Thank you very much for watching. Every city has a manager. That manager acts as a principal advisor to that city's council. The manager is tasked with being publicly apolitical while advising council. However, this week, Chief Administrator Ann Mitchell in Medicine Hat made a post to LinkedIn slamming the province's Bill 50 and saying democracy in Canada was under threat. Here's Eli Ritter with our top story tonight.
Medicine Hat's city manager is criticizing the Alberta government. Earlier this month, Bill 50 came into force and removed previously required conduct rules for city councils. CAO Ann Mitchell says the province shouldn't have removed municipal codes of conduct without a replacement.
Getting rid of codes of conduct without something in place to protect people is very concerning for me.
When former Municipal Affairs Minister Rick McIver introduced the changes, he specifically referred to Medicine Hat. Mitchell says the United Conservative government never consulted her and others in the municipal leadership space.
None were approached, so it was unfortunate because those of us who are working in the industry really should be consulted more, and I don't think that was done very well.
Mitchell granted an interview to Chat News after a social media post saying legislation like Bill 50 is a step backward. She writes that administrators need to band together to protect democracies in Canada. She adds she's seen a, quote, disturbing trend of self-serving individuals that are threatening that democracy. Mitchell says people who serve as staff or on council should put the community first.
What is your reasoning? And are you doing it to further your community for the good of the community? Because really that's who you're responsible to. You know, you're responsible to the public.
Councillor Shyla Sharps disagrees with Mitchell on Bill 50. She said in a statement that it actually provides clear authority for local leadership. Sharps says recently she's seen councils defer to staff recommendations instead of leading decisively. Political consultant Jim Groom says staff aren't at the whim of politicians, but have to understand they've been empowered by voters.
The politicians do feel like they've been empowered by the system and by the people who elected them. And the administration is really there to accede to those new policies, procedures, approaches that the politicians want to take. And so it's kind of a delicate balance.
Grimm says he agrees with Mitchell that political discourse has diminished to a point where good faith conversations are now rare. But he adds that her indication that democracy is under threat isn't accurate.
I think you have to be a little cautious if you go too far and you say, well, democracy is dead and, the system's just not working and everything's broken, because especially when you're part of the system.
Municipal Affairs Minister Dan Williams told Chat News in a statement that Mitchell's assertion about democracy is incorrect. Williams says citizens' ability to participate in democracy isn't impacted by Bill 50. He also echoed his predecessor Rick McIver, who said that codes of conduct were being weaponized by members of council. Mitchell, who's currently at a conference of CAOs in Quebec, says she plans to help form a task force to address the problems she sees across Canada.
We're going to look at how we can address this because you hear it too often, too frequently, and there's a lot of people that are removing themselves from these jobs as public servants, both politically and as a bureaucrat too. It's not just one or the other. The whole sector is suffering.
Council will next meet Monday for a public meeting. To dive deeper on this story, visit chatnewstoday.ca. Eli Ritter, Chat News.
The Medicine Hat Catholic Board of Education hosted a ground blessing and groundbreaking ceremony today at the future site of Holy Trinity Academy, just behind St. Francis Xavier School, a school that will be home to students from an early learning program up to grade 9. Superintendent Dwayne Zarichny says construction will begin within the next 2 weeks.
The fencing will go up to surround the existing St. Francis School, and demolition will begin on the portable structures that are attached to the back of the school, and then general construction will go on from there.
St. Francis Xavier will remain open during construction, with students expected to move into the new school in February of 2027 to allow full demolition of the existing school. The new school will be built to accommodate 950 students, making it the largest school within the Catholic Division. It will include 2 full-size gymnasiums and a 400-seat theater, a number of sensory rooms with additional accessibility features, including in the playground. During today's ceremony, priests completed their blessing, students were singing, and Mayor Lindsay Clark delivered a speech. Reynish says it's all incredibly exciting.
We've spent the better part of a year planning and developing and getting ready and designing, and so now to sort of see the shovels in the ground, so to speak, start really marks a milestone for us. And to have this day take place on World Catholic Education Day as well is just extra special for us. It just brings a little extra meaning to all of this.
Holy Trinity Academy will replace 3 aging schools in our city, St. Francis Xavier, St. Michael's, and St. Mary's, combining those student populations under one roof in the fall of 2027. Well, it's time now for our weekly look back at the history and story of Medicine Hat. From its early beginnings at the Board of Trade, the Southeast Alberta Chamber of Commerce has grown to an organization representing the interest of businesses across our region. It's celebrating its 125th anniversary as the host to the annual general meeting of the Alberta Chamber over the next 3 days. As Brian Conrad tells us, one of the events planned is the unveiling of a new name for a major downtown thoroughfare, a tribute to the many businesses found along 6th Avenue in the history of our town.
Commerce Way will be the 3rd name for the avenue. It began life as 4th Avenue, as it was the 4th Avenue west of Allowance Avenue, which was the baseline on the old town site. From the beginning, it's been the address for many well-known businesses and services. Heading north from the foot of Finley Bridge, the Medicine Hat News and Empress Theatres once stood on the west side of the avenue. Central Motors had a car lot on the corner as well. That's where City Hall is today. A block south, the City Hall and Sandstone Post Office faced each other for years at the corner of 2nd Street. Many banks also found along the avenue, the original Imperial Bank of Canada, and later the CIBC across the road. The Bank of Montreal moved onto the avenue in 1963 after the demolition of the old post office. The original Royal Bank of Canada was at the corner of 3rd Street. That was kitty corner to the Toronto Dominion. Cypress Club can still be found today on 6th Avenue. The Hull Block, eventually known as Eaton's, has graced the same corner at 3rd Street for more than 100 years. And kitty corner to that, the original F.W. Woolworth store. Early businessman William Cousins had a public market across the avenue. It later became known as City Bakery. Next door, the Dreamland, and later the Roxy Theatre could be found. Another business block on the east side of 6th was home to many businesses. That includes Lang Brothers Insurance, before it was torn down to make way for a parking terminal. 6th Avenue was also where the Medicine Hat Co-op had its first store. Chamber of Commerce has a long history along Commerce Way. Its current building, constructed at the corner of 6th Avenue and 4th Street Southeast, opening to much fanfare in 1959. But then that's another story in the history of our town.
All right, you can see many, many, many more episodes of Our Town online. Just head to chatnewstoday.ca and look for the Our Town button. Time for us to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the AccuWeather forecast for you following these messages.
Chat Weather, brought to you by Design Flooring Center. Talk to their experts and find your perfect floor.
Chat Weather, powered by AccuWeather.
All right, it's time for the weather forecast here on Chat TV, and allow me to do something that I couldn't do when we were broadcasting out of the basement. I can actually look and see the weather. Gorgeous outside. 31 degrees, lots of sunshine today, and that's not even the hottest day we're going to have this week. We're looking at a day that'll be warmer than 31, but 31 was our high today. 31 is still the temperature out there right now under a mainly sunny sky. The low tonight will get down to about 15. The wind right now from the south at 30, gusting to 48 kilometers an hour. So the wind's a little bit heavy. Still pretty good kite weather with a temperature of 31 degrees. As far as the rest of Alberta is concerned, well, not everybody got to 31 today, but that's okay. There's a lot of temperatures, a lot of really nice, comfortable temperatures across Alberta today and in Saskatchewan. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Now the radar, there's not a lot of activity on the radar, although there's a little bit there, and there's a few things moving on the radar right now, but we're primarily looking at the radar to get moving, and the radar will be moving tonight. The Futurecast, not too much on there because most of the rain that we're expecting is coming Monday and Tuesday, but a little bit of action on the Futurecast. Brooks, here's what you're looking like tomorrow. Not a bad day, not a bad day. Now tonight is what we're going to focus on in just a second, but let's get through a Leader tomorrow as well. Lots of sunshine in Leader tomorrow. Maple Creek, plenty of sunshine, and in Medicine Hat, lots of sunshine tomorrow. So tomorrow, sunny, not quite 31 degrees, but really nice. But now it's tonight we need to focus on, because tonight, as the temperature goes from 31 down to 15 or 16 in the overnight period, there's a 30% chance of some precipitation, but along with that is the risk of a thunderstorm. Yes, as the hot air and the cool air start to mix, that's a thunderstorm possibility with hail and stronger winds than we're seeing, and lots and lots and lots of rain. But the hail is something you want to watch out for. So northwest winds of 30 to 50 tonight. This is all prior to any thunderstorm that might pop up. 30% chance of precipitation and the risk of a thunderstorm. So watch for that, because if it comes, you absolutely don't want it. But tomorrow morning, mainly sunny and 16, then high on Friday near 27, Saturday 33 degrees and mainly sunny, and then Sunday the temperature dropping down to only 22 degrees for Sunday. So if you want to sit in and watch a hockey game Sunday night, it's going to be a comfortable temperature for that. Then Monday, cloudy, 70% chance of rain. The temperature will only be 17 degrees on Monday, and 2 to 4 millimeters of rain are possible for Sunday. So look at the temperature dropping off after 33 degrees on Saturday, but you should have plenty of opportunities as we move into the weather picture to get out and go for a walk. And Doreen sent this one in. I hadn't seen this view before. Walking along the river by the Trans-Canada Bridge. Doreen, nice shot. Thank you for sending this in to weatherpics@chatnewstoday.ca. Brought to you by Prestige Windows and Doors. Beautiful weather picture, beautiful day, and a beautiful weekend, but watch out for that thunderstorm tonight just in case it hits. And that's the forecast. One of the things that we're missing up here on the third floor is our weekly visits from Mike LaCour here in the studio with me. So we're working on getting Mike back into the studio, but in the meantime, he's still here on Chat TV, back to tell us all about what's up in the hat this weekend. Mike, take it away.
Dan, thank you very much on this beautifully blustery Thursday. It's going to be a great weekend. I think there's a lot of stuff happening, so we'll just jump right into it. I'm right here in Lions Park in Redcliffe because there's going to be a charity barbecue this Saturday. It'll be from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. as part of the Something for Everyone market. All proceeds from the barbecue sales will go to support the Redcliffe Youth Center and its programming. The Medicine Hat Interpretive Center will be hosting a shoreline litter picking party on Saturday. The event will run from 1 to 2 p.m. along the South Saskatchewan River at Police Point Park. There will also be a discussion on the watershed and its importance in our area. No registration is needed. Bags and gloves will be provided. Sunday sees the return of the Kidney Walk. It will be from 9 a.m. until noon, starting at Medicine Hat College. 1 or 2 laps is all you really need. Register, donate, or sponsor a team by going to kidneywalk.ca. Liquid Concert Room is hosting Back to Black, The Passion of Amy Winehouse, tomorrow night starting at 8 p.m. The tribute show is by Monroe Patrick Music. Call 403-654-7282 for tickets. And Friday also sees the start of Coolchella Music Festival during Spectrum Weekend. It's 2 days of live music, food, and drinks down at Kincooley Park. It's free to get in before 7 p.m., then $5 from 7 to 9, and $10 after 9. Check out the events calendar for a list of bands playing and to see what else is happening around Medicine Hat at chatnewstoday.ca. There's a lot, so make sure to check it out. You can also email us at promotions@chatnewstoday.ca, and we'll try to get your event included in the next What's Up in the Hat.
Chat Sports is brought to you by Windsor Plywood, Canadian owned and operated. From renovations to new builds, they have you covered.
If you've been wandering the trails of Medicine Hat recently, you may have seen some special rocks in the bush. Dennis Butchko is a former teacher who's taken to collecting, decorating, and leaving rocks out for people to find. And recently, he's taken to showing love to the Medicine Hat Tigers with his work.
And I just saw the joy that our granddaughters and other kids got in finding these rocks. So then for the last 5 years, I've painted close to 7,000 rocks, and I've hid them primarily in schools and playgrounds and along trailways. And most of my painted rocks have to deal with different themes. And right now, the craze, well, not craze, but the enthusiasm in the city is with the Medicine Hat Tigers.
Butchko believes that having the rocks out for children to discover helps encourage youthful exploration and imagination. Having lived in Medicine Hat since the early 80s, he and his family have followed and supported the Tigers for years. So with all the excitement around the team right now, Butchko hopes that kids in the city will be extra excited to find a rock decorated with some of their favorite players. Dennis says he isn't looking for adoration or fame from the rocks. He's simply doing it for the love of the game.
Sometimes my daughter finds them posted on Facebook. And then Jesse had one at the game, on the first Tiger games here, that he showed to the audience. I'm not really involved in the accolades that come with it. Like, for me, it's just the fun of painting and seeing the enjoyment that the kids have.
Butchko says if you want to re-hide the rocks, put them somewhere else for somebody else to discover and find, that would keep the discoveries going. The Medicine Hat Tennis Club's City Singles Tournament begins tonight. It's set to run through Sunday with 35 players competing. Games on Saturday will be moved to the evening to give players the opportunity to attend the funeral of former general manager and president Ken Clement. Jesse Gill met with a longtime member of the tennis club to speak about the passing of Mr. Clement.
I'm here with longtime member Calvin Heller. This tennis season is about to get underway here with the first big tournament of the year. Different kind of feeling this time, around this time of the year. Longtime member of the club is no longer here.
Yeah, that's right, Jesse. We lost our general manager and, more importantly, our friend. May 19th, he passed away this year. Lost his battle to cancer, but his legacy will live on here at the tennis club. Every time you walk in here, it feels like Ken is still present, and he built a beautiful facility for all of Medicine Hat to enjoy.
How instrumental has Ken been with the tennis club over the years? Like, I think, is the tennis club pretty much here because of him in a way?
Oh, no question. If it wasn't for Ken, he would give some credit to Brian Patterson, who's a good friend of his, but those two got it started here in this location. Brian left Medicine Hat, and it was Ken to run it all by himself for probably 30 years now. A lot of hours gone into it, and I believe he loved what he did, and it shows.
And if there was one thing you'd like people to know about Ken that they might not know, just knowing him offhand once or twice, what would you want people to know?
Well, I think I don't even know if I can keep it to one. Number one, there's words that describe him as being humble and kind, and those are, I think, a lot of the attributes that people at the club see. He's a prankster. He's kind of sly in the way he presents his jokes. There's many sides to him. A spiritual side to him. He has a great love of literature. I bet Ken would know more about you than you would know about him. That's the kind of person he was. People go, I don't know about Ken, but he certainly knew about you. It wouldn't be uncommon for a new member to join our club, and you know, a week or so later, he'd say, Kel, did you know so-and-so does this, or so-and-so does that, or this person's kind of unique for that. So he made it his priority to get to know people and really appreciate them and understand them.
Thanks for this, Calvin. Sounds like the legacy of Ken Clement is going to live on here at the Medicine Hat Tennis Club.
The Edmonton Oilers have a shot to close out the Western Conference Final tonight in Dallas. A win in Game 5 sends them back to the Stanley Cup Final and sets up a rematch with the Florida Panthers. Edmonton will be without winger Zach Hyman, who's out long-term after suffering an injury in Game 4. The Florida Panthers earned a third straight trip to the Stanley Cup Final with a 5-3 win over Carolina last night. Tonight's Oilers and Stars game will get underway at around 6 o'clock our time. Hey, look, we've got special guests in the studio. Girl Guides, what's your name?
Aileen.
And what's your name?
Dayla.
And why are you here why are you in our newsroom right now?
Because they're selling Girl Guide cookies.
Girl Guide cookies? Now, are these the delicious Girl Guide cookies, or are these the minty ones?
They're delicious.
Okay, so how many boxes do you have? I want to buy all that you've got.
3.
3? Okay, so let's see. All right, I'll give you the money, and I will take, cookie starts with C. So have you been selling a lot of these?
Yes.
And have you been eating a lot of them?
No.
No? Oh, so how many have you sold more than you've eaten, or have you eaten more than you've sold?
Probably sold more.
Good for you. Good for you. Well, Girl Guide cookies are available in and around Medicine Hat right now, and these are the delicious chocolate and vanilla ones, not the other ones, right? Do you guys like the other ones at all? No.
I do, but I like these ones too.
They're great. Okay, so what's your name again?
Dayla.
And your name?
Aileen.
We are here with the Medicine Hat's 2 of Medicine Hat's Girl Guides. I'm Dan Reynish. That is Chat News for tonight. I've got my supper, right? No, I'm not going to eat these for supper. That's Chat News for tonight. We're back at noon and 5 tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming in. Great job.
Thank you. No problem.